All right, welcome to another episode of the Friday Reload. This is Friday Reload number 29. Now, what we aim to do is get you caught up on what you might have missed in the week with the Friday Reload. So we hand curate the best posts, news, videos, and tools of the week and deliver them to you. The reason why we do this, so you don't have to really worry about what's going on in the week. As long as you listen, watch, or read the Friday Reload, you're all caught up and good to go. So this is for the week of November 21st, 2014. Now, we always lead off with our news-related stories. This week, Google made a few moves and Facebook dropped a big one on us. So let's start with good old Google first, and then we will talk about Facebook. So Google launched a mobile-friendly test tool. So Google's new mobile-friendly testing tool tells you if your site passes or fails the mobile test. You can find it at google.com/webmasters/tools/mobile-friendly. Or you can go to digitaltriggers.io/FR29 to get all the links to any of the posts in the blog, see all the images, and get all the great stuff. So what this tool does is it basically tells you if you're mobile friendly or if you're not mobile friendly. So sometimes it will give you more details as to how or why you passed. And if you don't pass, sometimes it will give you details as well. Now, this is highly relevant because Google is experimenting with special ranking for mobile-friendly sites. So if your site earns the new mobile-friendly designation, you might be awarded with a ranking boost. And Google also has officially launched, let me see. Oh, I had the link wrong there. Google has also officially launched the mobile-friendly labels in mobile search results. So Google has begun its rollout of mobile-friendly search label in the mobile search snippets. So what does all this mean? If you're mobile friendly, you are going to get a big boost. I mean, either between the special ranking or even just with that little tagline of mobile friendly label, you're going to get a higher click-through rate, which is probably going to lead to a higher organic ranking. What that means is that we might finally see a lot more people paying attention to mobile, making sure their sites are mobile optimized. Now, how are you going to know if you qualify to show such a label for your web page? They said it depends on if the Google bot detects the following criteria. Number one, it avoids software that is not common on mobile devices like Flash. Number two, it uses text that is readable without zooming. Number three, it sizes content to the screen so users don't have to scroll horizontally or zoom. And then lastly, it places links far enough apart so the correct one can easily be tapped. Now, you might be wondering, what did Facebook announce this week? Well, Facebook denounces overly promotional page posts. So the organic game on Facebook, it just gets harder and harder and harder. We've got a lot of different sources on this one to try to make sense of it all. Now, here's Facebook's official post on it. Newsfeed for your information, reducing overly promotional page posts in newsfeed. Basically, they talk about people coming to Facebook and they want to see what's happening in their newsfeed. They say that people get annoyed when things are overly ad-like. And then they look into the feedback. They did some surveys. Who knows what they actually did or not? According to those people that they surveyed, and I do want to say, though, I know Facebook is trying to create a better user experience. So I do respect them for that. But it can be a little bit tough for us sometimes. So according to the people that they surveyed, the consistent traits that make organic posts feel too promotional are when they push people to buy a product or install an app, push people to enter promotion sweepstakes with no real context, posts that reuse the exact same content from ads. And they provide two examples. One here is of Tiger Therapy, and it is basically it's pushing you to watch the show tonight and then also grab the season 1 DVD. And then there's another one, and this is Bunny Puzzle Cube. And this one is about basically just buying bunny puzzles. So it's an app. So those are two examples they have. Now you can kind of tell that they're both pretty obviously overly promotional. So it doesn't really tell us, where's the gray line? We don't know. So Marketing Land spoke about it a little bit, saying how they're going to throttle these promotional posts. Now, it's not going to start till January, which is interesting. So your holidays will be fine and you will not have to worry about it. Now, one of the things they said is that Facebook will start treating promotional posts more like newsfeed ads. So there's a quantity to newsfeed ads, a maximum of 2 per day, and quality based on engagement and hiding controls. So all this means that pages that post promotional creative should expect their organic distribution to fall significantly over time. Now, Rebecca Lieb says it's a clear message to brands. If you want to sound like an advertiser, buy an ad. Now, we do get John Loomer's take on all this, which is pretty hysterical. I love this headline. It may be time for you to on Facebook. Now, what he says in this post really is more like, hey, if you don't like the changes or if it's not converting or working well for you, just don't bother with it. Get over it. Stop trying to spend money. I know for most of us, we're just trying to navigate with what Facebook throws at us. It does say, though, that it proves time and time again that what's the point of a Facebook page? What's the point of likes, And that's where it's hard. What's the line of overly promotional? I do know this. I've been posting videos directly to Facebook instead of YouTube, and my reach has been doing much better. So at the end of the day, you got to play the game of the network that you are on or the platform that you are on. So moving out of news and into top stories, the first one is 10 things master salespeople do to sweep away skepticism and close sales. So I'm a sucker for a great image, as I always say. Love great blog images. But Salesforce also brings the heat. Now, follow.net describes it as a very enticing article on how to close sales. Explore concepts and ideas revolving around how to demonstrate that your product works, how to explain why the product may be needed, how to list details of your product, and much, much more. So, what are these 10 crucial steps? Let me scroll down here, and there's actually a really nice image here all the way at the bottom that I will show you guys. So, number 1, demonstrate. Find a way to demonstrate your product. Be creative. The more dramatic, the better. Just don't overpromise anything. Number 2, explain the reason why. If you make an offer or claim, expect your prospect to wonder why you are making that claim. Whatever it is, make it clear to ward off skeptics. Number 3, lay on the details. More specifics will drive up conversion. In sales presentations, add facts, research, quotes, and numbers, and be clear and concise. Number 4, describe the mechanism. Explain the mechanism behind your claim. Number 5, acknowledge objections. Learn how to counter objections by acknowledging them. Follow the feel, felt, found formula. Number 6, provide expert opinion. In the course of a presentation, fall back on the results of experts in critical studies. Number 7, sprinkle in testimonials. Build trust with testimonials, case studies, research, and endorsements. Number 8, abide by the law of candor. Don't be afraid to tell the truth about your product or service. Number 9, offer a creative guarantee. Offer a solid guarantee, but also make it creative. It'll help you build trust and provide a security net. And then lastly, number 10, differentiate your product. Make a distinction about your product. Proprietary code, production method, people, worldview, award-winning designs, customer service, anything. Just make it different somehow. So this is a really good post. They go into a lot more detail on the blog. There's a lot more wonderful images. Definitely worth checking out. Next up, 4 steps to writing emails with drastically higher open and click-through rates. Now, I happen to be releasing a lot of content on this exclusively to our subscribers, Digital Trigger subscribers. So if you're watching or listening to the podcast, make sure to head on over to digitaltriggers.io. If you click in the sidebar for the top 10 revenue secrets, you can easily subscribe to our email list And that is where you will be able to get this great content where I'm talking about copywriting, emails, headlines, sales pages, all that jazz. That being said, 4 steps to writing emails with drastically higher open and click-through rates. So Wonderful Unbounce provides this. And my little rant on this is I honestly feel like the world is run by emails. I'm always telling you here on this podcast to build your email list. So getting them open is obviously hugely important. We're always looking to increase our click-through rates. On top of that, we all know that we spend way too much time in email, and it's usually the first thing that gets criticized by productivity experts. So I do want to say that a big part of email marketing is the relationship with your list. So if you're only sending sales emails, if you're always using overly short, kind of curiosity-driven headlines, you can burn people out. These kind of tactics can burn people out. So you have to learn the right balance between sales and service, providing value, providing good content, providing, things that people want to see. Don't abuse your list. All right, now on to the promise of the article. They said, what if you could write emails that get twice the average open rate and 4 times the average click-through rate? So number 1 is to write like a human to other humans. So the number 1 mistake that people make is writing like a business. You want to make sure that you have a human element, a voice to it. You want the way your writing sounds when it's read to, have this voice. So the easiest way to write like that is actually picture yourself in a real conversation and simply write the way you talk, or write as if you were writing this as an email to a friend. Number 2, pay attention to the only 3 lines that matter. And this is based around the fact that an estimated 65% of all emails are now opened on a mobile device. That means when it comes to open rates, you've got just 3 lines to convince the average subscriber to come inside. So you have number 1, the subject line, number 2, the first line of your email, and number 3, the from line. Those are the only 3 lines that mobile devices display. So keep it short, make it personal, use their name when possible, pop culture references that are relevant to their demographics, emoticons and slang, throw in numbers and data when possible, and above all, ask questions. Also make sure to lead with benefits. Now, Frank Kern, the self-proclaimed president of the internet, exemplifies all 3. Here are the last 3 email subject lines from his most recent product launch. Aaron, open up. Process map, PDF, cheat sheet plus live stuff. Big news, very cool, free stuff for you. So when it comes to the from line, you want to make sure that your email is actually coming from you, as in the real you. So number 3, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but it is number 3, make your emails mobile responsive. So if 65% of all emails are open on a mobile device, you want them to be mobile responsive. Even more to that point, 42% of those mobile users delete emails that don't display on their devices correctly. Kind of makes sense. You open an email, it doesn't work unless you're really looking to hear from this person. You're just going to say click and move on to the next thing. Now, number 4, last, is to ask questions. If you want to create engaging and click compelling emails, then you need to engage your subscribers in an actual conversation. Best way to do that, by asking questions. Reason being, the mind cannot stand an open loop. It has to close that loop. So the person is almost forced to make a choice and respond. Recently, the author mentions that they sent out an open loop email for a client who produces high-end elementary curriculum. All the email said was, hi, first name, are you still interested in elementary, their niche, curriculum? Cheers, clients. The open rates were in the mid 60% range, and the subject line was simply hi and the person's name. That's all. Exactly the same as the first line. Even better than that, a lot of people actually wrote back. Now, I do post on the blog about if you want to dive deeper, a link to Crazy Egg's post on how to write the perfect email that gets opened and clicked. But really it covers more on the A/B testing side. So check out the blog to get that link if you want to dive deeper into email marketing. Next up, we have the ad stage guide to Twitter ads. So expand your advertising efforts by using Twitter as well. It has a lot of similarities to Facebook, and its recent new features make it a platform worth testing. Ad stage covers all of the details that you could want to know, such as where ads display, campaign objectives, ad types, cards, targeting, bids, and budget. I went through it, and it is a great primer on Twitter ads. They also have a post on do's and don'ts of Twitter ads. It's a little bit more elementary, but if Twitter ads interest you, it's also worth checking out. Now, quick tip, if you are going to run Twitter ads and you're serious about it, get with a Twitter ad rep. They will set you in the right direction. Now, you want to make sure you get a good person, so make sure you get a referral from someone who's having success with Twitter ads. But Twitter ad rep can definitely shortcut that process for you. Next up, this is from JS Marketing, and this is the first that I've honestly really heard of their blog or seen their blog, but they've got a lot going on. I mean, they have their pop-ups all over the place. They're definitely sucking in emails. I can see that. And this is on Pinterest. So this is how to generate leads from, and this is based on companies that are driving tens of thousands of views a month. So follow.net describes this as a very, very comprehensive guide on how to use Pinterest for increasing following, generating consistent traffic, generating leads, boosting engagement, and much, much more. So I want to say, I think this is the best guide I've seen on Pinterest yet. Now, Pinterest does come with the one big disclaimer. It's only if you're trying to attract female users aged between 18 to 49. That's the demographic. That's it. Are there guys on Pinterest? Yes. Can you drive traffic from those guys on Pinterest? I'm sure. Should you go after Pinterest if your demographic is male? Most likely not. So if you do have a demographic that's female, you definitely want to get into Pinterest. Now, there's some good stats here on posting the perfect image, the 80-20 of getting more followers, and then 12 case studies of companies that have found ways to consistently generate leads and revenue from Pinterest. One of them is actually a software firm that generates sales from Pinterest. All of this is awesome. If you are, like I said, if your demographic is at all female, you need to be on Pinterest, or at least checking out this guide and seeing if a few light bulbs go off and there's a way for you to get into Pinterest. I'm going to guess most of our listeners probably their demographic isn't too female. So with that being said, we're going to move right along. So as you can see right now on the screen, this is a slide share. It's called the 5 W's of B2B content marketing, or Weapons of Mass Distribution 2014. This is by Hidden Shaw. He's well known for Kissmetrics and also Crazy Egg. He has his own publishing that he does for SaaS Weekly. And this is a great SlideShare. Well, guess what? It inspired an even better post called The Ultimate Guide to Kickstart Your Content Marketing Machine. So we're going to cover the basic 6-part structure of the guide. And then, of course, check it out if you want to learn more and get even deeper into it. So number 1, who do you want to reach? What is your primary customer segment? What do they read? What are their problems and interests? Then number 2, what type of content should you create? What type of content is already out there that we can learn from? How else can we figure out what our target audience prefers to read and share? Next up, as you can see by all the scrolling, it's a whopper. Number 3, how to write effectively for the web. What's the best writing workflow? What type of headlines work best? What kind of tone should you use? Number 4, where to post and how to amplify your reach. How will people first see, read, or share this content? How are they going to find it? Who's going to influence them to read it? Then number 5, If you can hear that scrolling in the background, you know I'm not kidding when I say this is a big piece of content. Number 5, when should you share your content? What days should you release your content on? What sharing times perform best? And then lastly, number 6, what to track and how to measure success. How are your content pieces performing? What are the metrics that matter? And how do they impact your bottom line? Next up, we have another slide share. So mobile is eating the world, Ben Evans once said. So if you work on mobile, this presentation is going to offer you plenty of strategies, tools, tactics, and case studies for growing your users. Now, I do think it has a little bit more of a user growing focus, but it certainly has a lot of good stats and information based around mobile. So definitely worth checking out, especially if you are a part of the mobile bandwagon. Next up, we have product splintering. This comes to us from Digital Marketer, and their wonderful headline is how we generated $188,000 from a dead email list and a tired offer. So if you've never heard the term tripwire, then this article is for you. Digital Marketer talks about how they product splinter and generated a boatload of money from a dead list. Then they went on to successfully replicate the same trick in other markets. Now, if you haven't heard of tripwires before, imagine taking a $47 ebook on, let's just say, healthy eating, working out, losing weight, and then splitting that into a $7 really focused ebook on, the one smoothie that I use to boost my metabolism, energy, and start losing weight. Maybe that smoothie was a part of the original Eat course, so you splinter it off into its own piece. Simply put, tripwires work extremely well. Low sales points, that is how funnels are going right now. That seems to be where a lot of the experts are going and like to be doing. Next up, we have examples of engineering as marketing. So explore some of the different engineering as marketing techniques pulled by companies like HubSpot, Twitter, Moz, Dropbox, and much more. Check them out, analyze what those companies did, and see if you can replicate some of these growth hacks. Now, a lot of these, I want to say, are based around building tools that people can use or want to use for free. And then by doing that, you can capture the lead and get their attention. Next up, we have how to get 247 more people to read your content. Neil Patel does what he always does, and he creates a great headline. That being said, you can basically sum up his post as write in a conversational tone rather than a dull, boring, kind of journalistic tone or like a research paper in order to hook your readers. And then lastly, we have buying Facebook likes sucks. Here's the data to prove it. They have maybe my favorite blog image I've ever seen. I know I ran about these blog images, but design really does matter on the web. I want to say this post feels like it's a few months too late. I think everyone kind of knows at this point that buying Facebook likes or Facebook and likes in general really aren't what they used to be, but the data is solid and very well researched. So maybe you're still on the fence or you're having trouble with some clients and you need to convince them of otherwise, or even you just need to prove it to yourself. The quick answer, buying likes from shady companies doesn't perform as well as buying likes from Facebook. It's a waste of your time. Which, speaking of time, it's tool time. So first tool, giflab.co. What they claim to do, drag, drop, create GIFs. So you can drag in images and you can easily create GIFs. Now, I love simple tools. I love them. If you need to do something and you can find a tool that does just what you do, no more, no less, that is always perfect for me. So I used this earlier in the day to do exactly as it says. I dropped in 5 images and I created a quick little product demo GIF for some of you out there. Why would you want to do that? Well, if you drop it in your emails, it definitely helps with click-through rates and grabbing attention. GIFs in general just do awesome with grabbing attention. They're better. It's the right balance between images and videos. Now, you're going to be thrown a little bit if you do check it out because the sign-up process for whatever reason, requires you to input a phone number. Now, I personally did not care, put in my phone number, and went through with the sign-up process, and I think the ease of use makes it worth it. Next up, we have Nibbler. So what this allows you to do is test any website. And I got to say, it has an adorable name and a beautiful, beautiful site. So what it is a free tool for testing websites. Enter the address of any website, and Nibbler will give you a report scoring the website out of 10 for key areas, including accessibility, SEO, social media, and technology. Test 5 pages of your website, and to check for more pages and get a comprehensive report, check out their other site, sitebeam.net. So whether for clients or for yourself, here's a cool little tool that you can use to check out websites. So now time for our honorable mentions. So these are other good articles. Maybe they're good reads, but they don't quite fit into the Friday Reload format, but they're things worth bringing attention to. So the first one is The Founder's Guide to Selling Your Company. This one got a lot of love on Hacker News. Next is Peak Google Not Even Close. So some people think that Google is starting to peak out. This article makes the argument that they are not at all. Next up, we have 21 link building ideas that have nothing to do with guest posting. Some actual pretty good ideas in there. Then we have user behavior affects local rankings. Now what? So this is based on a state of search SlideShare, and SlideShares really are popular this week in the Friday Reload. So if you are doing any kind of local rankings, local search, this is worth it for you. Next up, we have the dangers of data-driven marketing. So basically, we have to be careful with all these numbers and analytics. Sometimes we jump to conclusions that are not true. And this post by Wistia makes a good point and clarifies that. Next up, this one was just too cool not to share. This is called using facial recognition technology to segment your email list. So what you do is you export your email list. You use the full contact person API and the Face++ API, and you basically can use people's faces to determine their demographics. If that isn't a little crazy, I don't know what is. And you can segment your email list by age, ethnicity, gender, and magnitude of smile featured in their social network profile picture. That's pretty crazy. Talk about really drilling in deep there. And then lastly, 20 ways B2B SEOs can leverage schema.org markup. So that is it. Take care. I hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure to sign up for the email list once again, or check out the blog post, digitaltriggers.io/FR29. We have a lot of cool bonus content coming out this week. I actually have an email that is going out this morning, so you might be a little too late for that one. But if you sign up, shoot me an email. I'll make sure to send it over to you. Now, I need to go play football in the freezing cold of Florida. It's about 60 degrees out here. I'm joking, of course, but it is a little nippy. And we have Thanksgiving very quickly approaching us. I wonder if any of you guys are doing anything for Black Friday. I don't think we're gonna go for it. I personally got to say, the whole Black Friday thing, I just don't think I'm on board. I mean, hey, if you want to go get a deal, at noon that is going to be around, cool. But if you're diving in the door at 2 a.m., come on, prioritize your life better. Spend some time with your family, work a little bit harder on your business, and don't worry about the $50 that you might save on some silly Xbox anyways. That's it for this one. Have a good one, guys, and I will catch you on Tuesday.